Believe it or not, it has been 20 years this past Wednesday, October the 8th, 2005, for the rematch with Jose Luis Castillo and Diego Corrales. You've said numerous times, Big Dan, that is the all-time fight as far as you are
The
concerned.
first fight.
The first fight. This is the rematch that happened 5 months later. You were there. And tell me what I mean, again, it was bizarre from the jump because Castillo missed weight by 3 exits on the interstate, as I like to say. So that started the festivities, and there was some debate as to whether there would even be a fight. But tell me more about the 20 years ago now, the anniversary of the rematch, coming 5 months on the heels after the epic first fight 20 years ago.
Correct. So you know that the third fight was canceled because Castillo once again missed weight. And it was because of what happened in this second fight that Corrales said, you know what, I'm not doing this third fight. He's so much overweight, because he went through with the second fight despite the fact that Castillo was so over. And when he did it again, he was like, you know what, you can't fool me again. I'm not doing this. And that caused the fight to be canceled at the weigh-in. But for the second fight, the fight was at the Thomas and Mack Center. And I can still remember they had the weigh-in outdoors at Caesar's Palace. They have, like, I don't know if it's still there, but they had built a small arena out back that was not the temporary facility like they used to do the big fights in the 80s, but an actual arena for concerts. They had a couple of boxing
Mm-hmm.
events there over the years. Klitschko fought there once. And when they did the weigh-in, Castillo was 138 and a half pounds. That's 3.5 over the lightweight limit. Now, he had won the lightweight title from Corrales in the first, or no, I take it back. It was a unification fight in the first fight. This was supposed to be him defending the WBC title in the rematch. Obviously, he was stripped, but there was some activity, in quote marks, at the weigh-in, and it was a wild scene because you had one of the members of Team Castillo, his doctor, I forget the guy's name, was standing behind him, and it was not they pretty much everybody now uses a digital scale, so you can't really fuck around. But back then, sometimes there was a digital scale, but other times there was like a regular scale you would step on, and they would have to move the thing over. What, you didn't get the ounces; it was approximate, whatever. But the man from the team Castillo stood behind it and tried to put his foot under the scale to give it a little boost, so we would be on weight. Now, Mark Ratner, who at the time was the executive director
Uh-huh.
of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, now he is in charge of a lot of the regulation stuff and dealing with commissions with UFC. But at that time, he was the athletic director, highly respected individual, a wonderful guy, a very
Dealt
calm
dealt
guy.
with more than one controversy, including the Tyson Holyfield ear biting. The same Mark
So
Ratner.
if you remember the Tyson ear biting, just to show you the type of demeanor that Mark Ratner, I almost said Mark Taffet, I meant Mark Ratner, had, is if you remember when the ear biting happened and Mills Lane, who was the referee, was going to disqualify Tyson after the first bite, Mark understood the magnitude of the timing, the event, what was going on, and he didn't get on Mills's case. He just, like, very gently said, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And Mills, like, took that to take a second to think about it and didn't disqualify him. So he was very calm in the
Mm-hmm.
crucible of the moment. Okay, so, and I dealt with Mark a lot before he left to go to UFC. Um, Never once, even in the crazy shit that goes on in boxing, saw him raise his voice, saw him get in a confrontational situation with anybody, whether it was a boxer, a manager, a promoter, a person in the media, a fan, whatever. Calm, cool, collected. On that day, when he found that guy stuck his foot under the scale to fuck around and tamper with the scale, he lost his fucking mind for a minute there. Okay. The only time I ever saw
How
Mark,
far are you away when that happened? 5 feet, 10 feet?
I'm standing right there. I'm like standing right there.
Okay.
I was like standing, I think I was like basically like a foot or two in front of Ratner, and I'm looking at it and I saw the whole thing happen. So I forget the guy's name, but the person that was responsible for sticking the foot under the scale, he was suspended and fined for tampering with the scale, which is a terrible, terrible, rules infraction in boxing. It shows no honor whatsoever.
Right.
Uh, Even in boxing, sometimes people, you go by the rules of the street, if you will. That's not acceptable to do that kind of shit. In any event, so he got stripped of the title, Castillo. They had the fight the next night at the Thomas and Mack. And it started off like this is going to be another fucking absolute war, the same way the first fight was. It was a tremendous slugfest. I mean, they were going at it. It was a great battle. But, once again, like what had happened in other times in in Castillo's career. He did not make the weight. He blew weight in the third fight. It got canceled. He had blown weight on another fight against Timothy Bradley, after this, which was supposed to be a 140-pound eliminator. I was there in where was that? In Cancun, Mexico, on the beach when that happened. He didn't make the weight. I mean, he missed weight for other fights, whatever. Anyway, Corrales had made the weight. He always struggled to make it, but he was a trooper, a pro. He got down. He made the 135 pounds. And in the end, Castillo overpowered him. He landed a massive left hook. That was his best punch. And he knocked him out in the fourth round. And what was looking like is shaping up to be another fantastic fight. He took it figuratively and literally on the chin. He got knocked out, and Castillo wins the fight. The title stays vacant. And remember, this was supposed to be like a big show. The first fight was live on Showtime. The second fight was a big pay-per-view. And so the event, because of the fact that he didn't make the weight, it suffered. A lot of people, I think, based on what Showtime said, the numbers weren't great, that people decided not to buy it because it was all fucked up because of what happened at the weigh-in. And it's unfortunate because it could have been another classic fight, but it was short-circuited because he got drilled. But it was exciting, I will tell you that. I mean, I was there for the first fight, which is the greatest fight I've ever seen. I was there for the second fight. I was there for what was supposed to be the third fight until it was canceled at the weigh-in. But had he made the weight and then not made the weight for the third fight, Corrales probably would have gone through with the third fight. But again, he was 3.5 pounds over for the second fight. And when he came in 4.5 pounds over for the third fight,
yes,
Corrales like, fuck
then
that.
it's obvious you're trying to use that to your advantage and fight a weight-drained fighter while you didn't cut weight. And it's obvious what he was doing. So
that's what happened. So
man,
as incredibly awesome and memorable and historic and all the adjectives and good things you could say about their first fight, the second fight was a good fight while it lasted, but so much around it was unfortunate and negative. Because the thing about it was, I remember this also, going into that, before this whole thing happened with the weight, a lot of the buildup to the fight was a celebration of how incredible the first fight was.
Mm-hmm.
These guys talk nice about each other. They gave each other so much credit and so much respect. They know what they had put each other through. They were really cool cats about the whole thing. And it was a really wonderful experience to cover the rematch and to talk about it. They would talk about how, when we're done, we're going to have lunch together. And like it was friendly, even though it was, fierce battle when the bell rang. And unfortunately with Castillo doing this and having a history, guys miss weight. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. It's going to happen. It's unfortunate, but it happens, but a lot of times it's, you're 0.5 pound over, you're a few ounces over, whatever. He's 3.5 pounds over for this fight. He's, I believe, if my memory is correct, 4.5 for the third fight. The Bradley fight, he was at least a pound or so or more over. And I think there was at least one other fight that he missed weight on. Dude, don't fight as a
pattern.
lightweight.
Well, the other thing is, it's a pattern of trying to take advantage of your opponents too.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
And of course, them trying to cheat with this fucking foot under the scale.